Hi, this is Sergeant Fitton with Moore County Crime Stoppers. I'm here for you today with another Officer of the Month feature for the month of December. And today we have Officer Coleman Funk with the Dumas Police Department here with us. Welcome, Officer Funk.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your Officer of the Month selection. So, one of the things we do here at Crime Stoppers with the Officer of the Month, one of my roles with it as the Adult Program Coordinator, is I try and keep in touch with what all of our local officers are doing out on the streets and the good work that's being done. And then when an officer does something really notable, I make mention of that at our Crime Stoppers board meetings, and then our board gets together and discusses it, and they vote on it and pick the Officer of the Month. Now, Officer Funk here was selected for December because he recently responded to an emergency call for service where he actually was able to save someone's life. So we're gonna let Officer Funk talk about that, and we'll go from there. But Funk, tell us about this call that you went on.
So I was working day shift on May 1st of this year, 2022, and we get a emergency call for an unresponsive female. It was in the, I want to say it was 1300 block, either Binkley or Beard, one of the two. Or it might have been Meredith. I can't remember what street it was on.
Sure.
But, so obviously on an unresponsive we go code, which is lights and sirens. I just so happened to be the first officer on scene. Showed up there. It was actually a lady's, I believe it was her nieces that called. And they tell me where she's at in the house, so show up. I find her, she's not breathing, she's starting to turn purple in the face, she does have a pulse. So I start doing CPR, and once I start doing CPR, the paramedics and the firefighters arrived soon after that. And then later I found out that if I wouldn't have done CPR, she probably wouldn't have been with us.
Really?
So
That's incredible. So I think one thing that goes unnoticed and untalked about a lot is CPR is not easy. Like it's not kind of what you see on movies where people kind of, 1, 2, 3, and then people come back to life. Like
it's not.
No, like real CPR is can get pretty aggressive, and like I've seen people get like broken ribs from having CPR done on them before and stuff. And so, how long would you say did you do CPR?
I probably did it for about a minute to 2 minutes before the firefighters and stuff were there, and then she finally came back too.
Okay, wow.
And then once that, obviously, I turned it over to them and let them
well,
go from there.
Good on you, because 1 or 2 minutes doesn't sound like a long time.
It's a very long time.
Yeah,
so
you'll get worn out doing CPR. So awesome, yeah. And I know that I'd seen the guys over at Dumas PD command staff. They did give you a life-saving award for that.
Yeah.
Right?
So if you see me out and about, that little like lapel that's on my vest, it's actually what that's for. Is the administration gives you like a life-saving award, and that's what you get to wear it with your uniform or your Class A's when you go to court and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's cool too, because one thing that we kind of talked about at the Crime Stoppers meeting when I brought this up was, as a police officer, you get to do a lot of things where more than likely you end up maybe saving lives pretty often, but a lot of times that takes the form of like, hey, there was a guy driving recklessly, he was hauling butt through a school zone or something, and you stop him and pull him over, and you may never know it, but if you wouldn't have stopped him, maybe he would have smacked some kid on the road, and maybe you saved a life, but you're never really going to know. Or if you bust someone that has some drugs in their pocket or whatever, or well, we'll make a better scenario. Maybe you get a car and you get a good load of drugs, and turns out it was laced with fentanyl. Some teenagers were going to buy some of that and go party with it, and there was going to be an overdose death. And you don't know it, but you actually saved a life,
Yeah.
There's good stuff like that, but there's the stuff you'll never really know if you saved a life or not. But then there's stuff like this, where you do CPR on someone, and like you know that, like, yeah, hey, like we actually saved one. It's that confirmation. So
yeah,
it's a cool thing, and it's worth celebrating. And the Crime Stoppers board thought so too. And so again, congratulations. And
well, thank you.
And Yeah. But, so, kind of moving on from that, another question I had for you was, whenever you're responding to something like that, and you're running code and everything, with those types of situations where we have just the call comes out usually as like an unresponsive male or female, that can mean a lot of different things. What was going through your head when you were on your way there? Did you have any information to suggest that it was like, are we dealing with a heart attack or a stroke or someone choking or?
So when they dispatched it, it dispatched as a respiratory distress.
Okay.
And so at first I didn't think much of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just a natural instinct. Once they do a medical like that, I always ask if they're responsive.
Yeah.
And as soon as they told me they weren't responsive, that's when I would start going code. Because, I mean,
Okay.
obviously something's wrong and they're not breathing, so we went from there.
Yeah.
But what was going through my head is I was just trying to clear my intersections while running code, making sure I don't hit anybody or anything like that. Cause,
yeah, or get hit.
Yeah, or get hit. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, cool. Yeah, that's the other thing is, we always try and go over those overlooked aspects of a call, and that is one of them. Is just going to the call can be super dangerous sometimes. So that's cool, especially when you're running code. So cool. Well, Officer Funk, we're gonna wrap this up with a scenario question for you.
Sweet.
And this one, well, it's really more of a would you rather question. And this one is gonna be, would you rather? I've got it on my phone here. It's gonna be. Yeah, would you rather have a rewind button or a pause button in your life? You know, you can rewind time or you can pause it. Which one you pick?
I'm gonna say probably pause button because I mean you can when you're in a situation where you need a little more time, you can hit pause and then do what you need to do, and then get it taken care of and then continue forward.
I like that. I think there's a lot of benefits to the pause button. Rewind button would also be cool. But I don't know, pause button I think would give you more time to think, whereas rewind would kind of just be a chance to do it over, but I don't know. Would you have used either one, the rewind button or the pause button on this call?
I definitely probably would have used the pause button on this one, just for the simple fact that it would have gave me a little more time to slow things down in my head and think about it, and go just to kind of critique myself a little minor.
Yeah, that would be good. When stuff's going 1,000 miles an hour and you jump in and you act, I mean, that's good. You got to do something, but sometimes it would be nice to be able to freeze everything for a second and be like, all right, okay, here's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, definitely agree with that.
Cool. Good answer. Well, Officer Funk, congratulations on your Officer of the Month, and I want to thank you for your service. Thanks for saving a life. It's super awesome. So
thank you.
Yeah, we'll catch you next time.
Yes, sir. We'll do.